This is my solution to the viral math problem that has been sweeping the internet. The problem is to solve for the shaded area. We're given that we have a square, and this square is cut in half along the center with a line going from one corner to the opposite corner. We're also told that the square is that a line is made from the center of one square, or one side of the square, to the corner, and these two lines are the same in length. We're then asked what percentage of the square is shaded. There have been many solutions, and this is the way I went about solving this. I immediately noticed that the shaded area is all on one side of the square. So this, if we take half the square, that's equal to half the area of the square. I decided to make an additional triangle, and this is how I went about solving it. I took and made another line which started from the center of this line to this corner. And what I effectively did when I did that is I created a new triangle here. Now this triangle here is going to be the same area as this triangle on this side. I then made a new line connecting the edges, going from the center of one side of the square to the center of the other side of the square. This line, if you notice, is perfectly parallel to our original line. That's going to come in handy. Now, to solve for the area of a square is simply take one side of the square and you square it. So this side of the square we're going to call 2. The area of the square would then simply equal 2 squared, which would equal to 4. Well, then we can solve for all these other triangles. Well, this triangle here would be interesting. It would have a side of 1 and another side of 1 because these are half. And to solve the area of a right angle triangle, we simply take the base times the height divided by 2. And the base and the height are both 1, so the area of this triangle will be 1 times 1 divided by 2, or 1/2. Now we have another triangle here. This triangle would have a base of 1 and a height of 2. So this whole triangle here would have an area of 1. It's simply 1 times 2 divided by 2, which would be 1. And so this triangle here would also be equal to 1. So what about the center triangle? This big triangle in the center. Well, this triangle, we have an easy way of figuring it out. We don't have to start doing any kind of fancy math problems. We know the whole area of the square was 4. Area of square equals 4. Then we simply subtract all these triangles. There's 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1/2 is 2.5. So we take 4 minus 2 and 1/2. And that is fairly easy. That becomes 1 and 1/2. So this center triangle would then equal to 1 and 1/2 area. Okay, so how do I solve from this? Well, as you remember from the beginning, this line and this line were parallel. Well, I can extend this the bottom line of the squared out also to create new triangles. And this is the key to the answering according to the method that I used here. Now I have a new triangle. Well, we know that this triangle, this is a right angle, and this is 1. We know that this angle and this angle are the same. So if this angle is the same and this is 1, so this also has to be a length of 1, and the area of this triangle has to be 1/2. And what's the area of this triangle? It would also have to be 1/2. So now if I add this triangle here plus this triangle here, I have an area of 1 and 1/2. The area of this center triangle is 1 and 1/2. And the area of this triangle is 1 and 1/2, which is very interesting. These three triangles, even though they're different shape, all have the exact same area. So now we know if we made a parallel line going through here, these three triangles here, this triangle here, this triangle here, and this triangle here all have to be equal. So whatever we know, and we know the area of half this of this whole area, which was half the square, is 1/2 the square. So if we take 1/2 of the square, and we have three triangles here, the shaded area is equal to 2/3 of half the square. So it's 1, 2. This is equal to 2/3, and this is 1/3. So I can just take 2/3 of this half, so it's 2/3 times the 1/2, which would equal to 1/3. So the shaded area would then be equal to 1/3 of the area of the entire square. And that's my solution.